Hello, my friends from all over the world. Today I come with something different, especially about the Lenten campaign in 2025, according to the Episcopal Council of Kenya. Yeah, they came with such kind of books like this one in Swahili, Kenya Tunayo Itamani, also in English, the Kenya we desire, and also there's another versions in other vernaculars like Kikuyu, Kikamba, and the others, but all they talk of the same thing. This was produced 2025 campaign ya Kwaresma by the Episcopal Council of Kenya in this year 2025. Yeah, there are quite a number of topics that they have already talked about, and they've printed it out like you can see from this book. Yeah, but I will mention them and explain them accordingly, starting with the first topic, which is the family. The Kenyan Episcopal Council bishops, the bishops of Kenya, they've come with the idea about family, showing that family is the center of any human community. Yeah, if we have a church, it's because it's made of family, a union of families together. They form a church. There's local church, quite jumuiya ndogo ndogo, local. Then you go to the community church, which is also Kigango. Then you go to the parish level. You go to deanery level, to a diocese level, and you can mention it up to reach to Rome. But a family and a church is built up of the family, the union of families together. But mine, I want to touch about the family itself. What is important there? What does the Council of Bishops want? That the family should be a source of unity, love of God to its members, that family should live together in harmony. And now they've given us each one an opportunity to reflect about his family. There are some questions like, how do social, economic, cultural, and legal factors influence family life and structure? How do we enhance peace and harmony in families? What roles do the family, church, and society play in development of children? So you can see there are very sensible questions of which, if we all come together with solution how to bring up the life in the family to that level, then the world could be a better place for us. I started asking some friends of mine, PMC, it means Pontifical Missionary Children, and I asked them a question when I was talking to them. How do you feel when your mother buys shoes to your young brother, and she doesn't buy for you, and it's Christmas time? One of them told me, Father, I feel very bad. And I asked, why do you feel bad? Because your brother is happy, he has been given shoes. Then they came to their senses. Yeah, but I want to argue to each one of you that what is important is to make the union of the family, but mostly to make this love prevail in the family level. A son or a daughter should be happy when she sees or he sees his brother being happy. If today a son cannot be happy, a child cannot be happy because his mother bought shoes to his young brother and did not buy for him, and what about tomorrow when he becomes the president or he becomes a governor? If someone gives present to the governor or the deputy governor, he doesn't give to him. And what about tomorrow if this same brother constructs a big house and he doesn't have any? Remember the issue of Cain and Abel. What happened? Envy. So we have to fight the disunity from the very beginning. That's very important of us to understand from this topic. Family is the unit, is the center of any human community. Chapter 2, they talked about corruption. I think everyone is aware what corruption is. But mostly you may think that corruption is, it concerns with the big potato in the government, the governors, the president, the MPs, MCAs. Yes, maybe because it's got a bigger impact to the community. Yeah, the other time maybe a certain organization, a store, or made a corruption, taking a big number, a large quantity of money that was given to those which with COVID issues, and then they are all diminished. You don't know who took them, and the kind of corruption. But I want to tell you the fact that corruption is not only in that big scale. It starts from the very beginning in the family. Yeah, when you give favor to one without any without any significant importance, or be it without being is not qualified, but you are giving him opportunity. That's the beginning of corruption. And I tell you, one day we are going with youth to one of the pilgrimage churches here in Kenya, where we are going to Subukia. And then we had a big bus, of course it was big. And then after we are about to depart, and each one was going to take a seat. Guess what? The other youth came and picked the seat, and then he puts a bag in the other seat. What is that for? He's keeping this seat for his friend who is outside there. So when he comes, he can sit together in that good seat, and the rest, they should pass by to find other spaces behind there. No, this is also corruption. If today you are eager to reserve a seat of your friend, who maybe even did not tell you that you keep for him, but only because you love him and you keep it there. Imagine tomorrow you are, let's say you are the governor, or you are the president of the country of Kenya, let's say Kenya, and then there's a big cake like that. You start to reserve this cake for my brother, my brother's child, my relative that you know. So this is nepotism, and nepotism eventually is kind of corruption. So we have to fight corruption from the very beginning, from the very foundation of the family. I remember there are a lot of things to talk about, but we all know about corruption, especially in the country where we are living. Nowadays, if the policeman stop you, you know that they are not asking you for a driving license, nor for number of passengers you are carrying, but only a money. And how much? Shamefully, 50 shillings. You give 50, then you are gone. So if you have a license valid, if you don't have, it's up to you. You carry passengers, you go through them into the river, it's not up to them. So this is the issue with corruption, how far it takes us when you take it common. I once asked this same PMC members, I asked them, what do you want to be when you grow up? One told me that I want to be a doctor. The other one said, I want to be a policeman. Hey, you want to be a policeman? Yes. But why? Because I want to get money. Oh, you see, he wants to be a policeman because he wants to get money. Now the question is that the work of a policeman to hold the money? What's up? What's behind that? Then you come to understand, it's money from corruption. I remember when we were kids, we used to play the game of mwalimu, mwanafunzi, student and a teacher. And normally, at our time, we used to know that teacher should stick the student. So always, teacher was supposed to walk with sticks. So you hold a stick and then you imitate that you are cunning a student. Then when I grew up, I came to understand that even that work of sticks is not for the teachers, it's for the those who are keeping the cattle. So likewise today, children think that policeman's work is to hold money, but that is the work for the bankers, like CRDB in Tanzania, or National Bank of Commerce, or Equity Bank in Kenya. So Absa Bank, but it's not the work of policemen to hold money. So they should know what they are supposed to do. This is about corruption. Corruption has gone too far. It's got a lot of rules that today we see the impact of corruption all through. The third topic is about the untapped resources, rasilimali vijana, youth. So the Kenyan Episcopal Council talks about the chance that youth are given. They are not normally, when you go to beg to look for job, they ask you what's your experience. So I've just finished the faculty, then you ask me about my experience. That's it. So that's a very big challenge to use, especially the market of employment. Of course, not all countries, not even a single country can employ its citizen at 100%. Normally, there's these private sectors which help to give the people employment. But now it all depends if the government also gives opportunity to the local, to the private sectors to flourish, because normally in many countries it should be like that, except in our countries like in East Africa, in Tanzania, in Kenya. I'm a witness. You want to start your school, they ask you about it becomes the Minister of Education to know if you really want to see the parameters of starting the school. Then they come the environmental department to see whether that's the right place. They are people from the land and other things. And all the time when they come, they want you to give them a khaki envelope. Yes, they ask you for a khaki envelope. And it's obvious that they are paid by the government, because they are employers of the government when they come to investigate or to do any research in your school. But yet they want you to give the envelope. If you don't give the envelope, then they disqualify your work, your school, then everything. They tell you the windows are like this. But in their own schools, the governmental schools, they are very much in precarious situations. Check my video I put about Kaoyeni Primary School. Just Google there, you see. That's the kind of the school that they have. But they want you to have that of the first class schools, of which themselves they cannot afford. The government, imagine. And what about you just as the individual? So this policy does not support anyhow the private sectors. I can give you a good example in Angola. I've been working there. They are very far away from us in Africa, in East Africa, in Kenya and Tanzania. Angola, I remember one of the sisters' congregation was starting a school. Then they came, of course, as normal, to do investigations. They come to see if the situation, the conditions are good for the student, but they are paid by the government, so you don't have to give them even a coin, because even there they come by the government vehicle, so it's all catered by the government, right? Now, after doing the necessary observations, then they recommended the school to be opened, you see. And now, one of the sisters, the nuns, was teaching in a public school, and she was supposed to be the director of that new beauty school. So now, just some letters to the minister to ask permission to shift from that school and to go to the school of which is theirs. And now the government allowed the changing of the school, and then the salary continued to be paid by the government, not only for this sister, but also all other teachers employed by here, we could say by TSC, by the government. When they move to that private school of sisters, they continue to be paid by the government, not that school. Why? Because even there, they are still teaching Angolan students. The government understands that. So you don't have to punish the school by taking away the salary. No, she continues to be paid, but under the government order. And then the school will give employment to other entities that are important, like catering in the kitchen, maybe the guards, the other things. So you give them opportunity to grow. Because when you open a sector, then it means that you give opportunities for the youth to get employment. But now, when you put all of these obstacles, then you hinder even the private sectors to grow. So there is a big fight between the private and the public sectors. Watch my video. I've just posted about the private sectors against the public sectors. You can see you learn a lot about that. So I want to go in deep that. If you want, refer to my video in the same channel, Area 16M. Now the third thing is about the education itself. Does our education system help us to grow? We have to ask one another. This also is raised up by the Kenyan Episcopal Council, but I think it's very important, the role of holistic education. I give a simple example. In Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, we have the biggest university called the Dar es Salaam University. Some years ago, they are constructing a library and the roads around the university. Guess what? They hired engineers from the Chinese firm that was helping in constructing the library itself. And in Dar es Salaam, because it's a big university, it produces not only bachelors or masters, but even the professors, the PhD holders in engineering, civil engineering, construction, all those titles, you can call them wherever you want. And there's even the faculty of land, faculty of land within the campus. And it produces a lot of engineers. But are they useful to the community? If they are very much useful, but why do they hire personnel from China? At the same time, they've got their own. They are producing the professors, the people, the PhD holders. And I was supposing that they should help in construction of the items, but they called the foreigners to construct the library and the roads. So it means that you're producing the unqualified agents. I wonder, each of one have to think twice about the level and the quality of our education. I remember even there was another friend of mine, engineer in automotive engineering, he have a PhD in automotives. I don't know how does it help to these people, because when his car gets blocked, then he takes it to the mechanic. And guess what? The mechanic did not even finish from 6 in Tanzania. He ended up from 4, and then he went to the technical school, I don't know where, a VETA, and then he became a technician. Then he is the one who is repairing the car with this PhD holder in automotive engineering. So then you discover that our education does not help. I can refer back to Ibrahim Traore, who is the president of Burkina Faso. It tells clearly about this system of education that is rotten. So we have to renew our system of education to see how to make it better, to fit the necessity of people, especially in our countries, especially in East African countries, instead of following that old system of which it doesn't hold water anymore. So we have to think twice about the level of the kind of education that we want. So this is all about education. Also, you can refer to my videos that I've already broadcasted in my YouTube channel. And lastly is about the environmental conservation, which everyone knows about this. Where are we going, especially this with the ozone, with the green transformation? We know we are living in a very devastating world, but now each one of us has to see to which extent is keeping the environment. Sometimes we take for granted, we think that only those big people with big industries, but even we in our daily days, sometimes we find that sometimes we wonder. That's why I question also the importance of our education. Even someone is a PhD holder, is taking a can of a beer or even water, after driving a big car, very luxurious car, then he opens the window and threw away the remnants, I mean the deity. This can only be found in these poor countries because of the anti-rhetoric. And we have to think twice about this. Hey guys, there are a lot of things to be discussed, but today I just want to end it there. Thanks for watching. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe, and also you can comment, and also you can show us how do you see about this campaign of the bishops of Kenya. I think it can serve in any other country, especially in Africa, Tanzania as well. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.